Hi, Kevin Feige. There is no time for introductions about how it's me, Nando, the YouTuber who secretly writes all the Marvel movies and the shows, except for Secret Invasion, one that until I just said its name, you forgot it existed, because I saw the signal flare. We have a situation on our hands. Blade is delayed again. For the, fifth time? It is so delayed that it's currently off the release schedule. But Mahershala is still interested. The challenge now is because Mahershala has seen so many scripts, we need something unlike anything else that has been pitched. And Kevin? I think I have just the thing. The pitch that can save Blade. And I'm just going to jump right into it. I'll cut in a little bit to explain my thoughts, but for now, here's my pitch for Blade. The year is 1980. Why? You'll see. But this isn't anywhere near unprecedented for Blade. Many of the potential pitches I've heard about online are period pieces. Why? Because period pieces are fun and Blade doesn't need to age. So anyway, it's 1980. We open on a meeting between two vampires. One is sitting on a throne, adorned in red armor. It's being petitioned by another vampire in gold armor. My king, I come to you with an opportunity. It has been 400 years. I know why you're here, Xarus. You need to give up this obsession. No, but your request is denied. My king, denied. I warn you. Your status will not protect you from consequences should you bring the matter further. Status? Father, enough, Xarus. You have everything. No vampire on Earth lives better, rules over more, and has more freedom. You need to let it go. Concentrate on Europe while I deal with Asia and Africa. Europe does not need my leadership. You know that. And yet, my talents are wasted tending to your bureaucracy. The times are changing. New superpowers are emerging, and you ignore them out of fear. I've heard enough. Guards, I'm going. Let this be the last I hear of it. Xarus leaves, meets up with his confidant, Count Vaccaro. I'm sorry, Xarus. He doesn't understand. He can't. His days of conquering are over. And he leaves entire continents untouched. Other clans are spreading their influence, and every new land they turn weakens our position. We need to act. You're saying, I am. We move without him. And when we win, either he accepts us, or we use our new army to destroy him. Dracula had his chance. It's my turn. So this is our villain, Xarus, the son of Dracula. He's been a player in the comics in a very Game of Thrones-y, gotta usurp dad sort of way. Now, if some of you are saying, why not just use Dracula? I get it. He's the big vampire baddie. Sometimes it's smart not to leave anything on the table. But assuming this is successful, I think Marvel would like a trilogy, and Dracula is the right villain for a 3-movie arc. It can't go wrong. But if we work Dracula into the plot naturally, instead of just throwing him randomly into the last movie, and also if the last movie isn't a disaster, this could work. As for casting, it's tough, but I've always liked Viggo Mortensen for stuff like this. He's my Dracula. And for Xarus, that, but in his 30s. And he's my favorite, and he could conceivably play this role, Dev Patel. He's Xarus in this. So here we can start with a big motorcycle chase already in motion. I understand why Wesley Snipes' Blade loved muscle cars, but I always associated Blade more closely with motorcycles. I think they'd lend themselves to some more dynamic action scenes, like The Matrix Reloaded. So this is Blade on the tail of a caravan protecting a tractor trailer. Blade fights the vampires in the caravan, killing all but one, which he leaves alive for questioning. Throughout this fight, Blade is talking over an earpiece to an older man named Jamal. Jamal is helping with navigation. Although this is the 80s, so it's mostly just maps giving Blade shortcuts. But Blade is ignoring them in favor of riskier maneuvers that do get him closer to the vampires but end up causing more collateral damage. Anyway, Blade kills all but one of the vampires and brings the truck to a stop. He opens it up and finds vials of blood in a large cooler. He goes to ask the living vampire what the blood is for. Where's it going? It is you, the Daywalker. Where is the blood going? Is it true that he killed your mother as she gave birth to you? Is that why you're broken? I'm so broken. How'd I catch you? My strength doesn't matter. What matters is the strength of the clan. Blade pulls out a stake. Oh, well, are you willing to die for him? Indeed. The vampire's skin begins to glow as Blade notices a tooth is missing. The vampire had a capsule hidden in his teeth. Blade brings the blood back to the hideout. It's a rundown operation put together by an older man named Jamal Afari. Jamal says, "What happened?" "Must have been a false tooth. Maybe filled with holy water?" "What did he say?" "Nothing. Vampire shit." "Talked about your mom?" "Frost." "Vampire shit. Check this out." Blade tosses Jamal the vial. "Just blood?" "I don't get it." And that's what I thought. But it's not just any blood. Jamal opens the vial and smells it. Is that Dracula? Or someone in his line? But the truck had a manifest for the shipment. This isn't the only one. Blade gives Jamal the paper. "So you're saying the rest is already gone?" "Seems like it." "And where are they going?" "The U.S. Atlanta." No. Dracula wouldn't turn what he can't control. He can't travel overseas. "I know. So then what? Think they're trying to trick us?" "Maybe. Maybe this isn't Dracula." "Xarus? He's a joke. Dracula would never let him take a shot at North America." "Maybe. What if Dracula doesn't know? I think this is a power play. Going behind Daddy's back to prove himself. Maybe make a play for the throne." "Do you have anything besides Atlanta?" "Not here. But if I leave now, maybe I can get there and catch their scent, figure out what they're up to and stop them." "I can't go with you." "That's fine. I'll be back." "No, I mean, doing this alone. It's dangerous. They haven't killed me yet. You know that's not what I mean. I don't have time for this. Every minute we waste is one they use to hide. Especially since they know we're coming." "Whatever you say." So that's Blade's arc here. He's going to go from being a loner to appreciating his friends and allies. Blade spent much of his life alone after his mother was killed, and he has learned not to form new close friendships. He's going to need to fix that if he wants to stop Xarus. So Blade goes to America and follows the scent to a small town in Alabama. He looks around, bumps into a woman named Monica Lynn. She's also investigating something strange going on in the town. They both start tailing each other, and eventually, Blade gets the drop on Monica and the two talk. "Who are you?" "You a cop?" "No." "Good. I wouldn't have answered if you were, but it would make things more difficult." "Why are you following me?" "Because you're not from here." "What gave me away?" "Small town. Everybody knows everybody. So when a new person shows up, we notice." Blade can see everybody in town is looking at him. "Let's get a cup of coffee." Blade and Monica go to a diner. "So what are you doing here?" "I can't say." "You're looking for someone." "Why are you interested?" "Because I'm looking for someone. A friend. Local reporter. Called me out of nowhere telling me strange things were happening and I needed to come back and check it out. I grew up here." "Sure. This reporter?" "Kevin. Kevin Trueblood." "Something funny?" "Sorry, you were saying?" "When I got here, there was no sign of Kevin." "Something's going on. I could feel it. Some sort of conspiracy. I'm going to figure out what it is." "Well, I might know what it is, and I can guarantee you don't want any part of it." "Are you FBI?" "Can't say." "Well, either way, I'm doing this. We've had more than enough problems waiting for the feds to come rescue us. I promise you don't want to get involved. Just let me handle it. Goodbye, Mr. Brooks." "And you are?" "Monica Lynn." "Goodbye, Mr. Brooks." Over the next couple of days, Blade does a little detective work. Monica was right. Something is off about this town, but Blade can't figure out what. They've got a secret. And he lost the vampire scent, so it's all instinct. Blade checks out the local bars, runs into some interesting characters. One is not a vampire, but is clearly working with them, so Blade chases his guy and eventually finds out that whatever is happening at the graveyard at dusk, but they're heading to the church first. So Blade stakes out the church. He finds a bunch of people moving boxes out of the church and into trucks. And as he's watching the trucks, he sees Monica sneaking towards the trucks. Nobody has seen her yet, but she doesn't realize how close they are. If they catch her, she's dead. So Blade makes a distraction using one of his throwing stars and uses the confusion to grab Monica and run. The two make it to a safe place as the trucks leave the church. "I told you to stay away." "So did I. This is dangerous. You're not trained." "I can take care of myself. Besides, I'm not trying to fight him, just get some pictures or license plates, maybe even faces." "What are you planning? You gonna cut him in half?" "Don't have a plan. Depends on how many, and if they're armed." "This is Alabama. They're armed. I can't have you going in alone and getting yourself killed. I won't be alone. My boyfriend's flying in tonight. He can help deal with them. Well, unless your boyfriend is Captain America, he's not going to be much use. Well, you aren't either. They're going to a cemetery, right? Which cemetery? How many can there be? 3. Oh. Yeah. Tell you what. Let's work together. Joe and I will help you navigate the town, and you can back us up. I don't work with people. You do now, Mr. Brooks. Now come with me back to my family's house. We can get some dinner and wait for Joe. So Blade and Monica Lynn go to her parents' house. It's isolated. Just her mom and dad live there. They're happy to see she's safe. She tells them that Brooks is another friend of Kevin's from out of town, so she invited him over for dinner. Blade gets to spend some time with the family. He's not used to this. Warmth, comfort. And his whole time he's trying to figure out if Monica knows without telling her. She's suspicious of the men who may have taken Kevin, but does she know they might be vampires? He doesn't want to sound crazy, but what else could she think they are? The sun's getting low and Joe is nowhere to be found. Maybe his flight got delayed. Monica wants to wait, but Blade knows if they're not there at sundown, it might be too late. So Blade and Monica leave for the cemetery, and Monica tells her parents to tell Joe where to find them if he arrives before they're back. Blade and Monica stake out the cemetery. They can't find anything. Blade doesn't know what to make of it. Monica notices some cars pulling up, and this is where we get our first real look at the villains, which take Blade by surprise. Members of the Ku Klux Klan. What the fuck? I knew it. Everyone said I was crazy, but they're back. This is what you're following. What Kevin found? They disappeared in the 70s, but I knew it was only a matter of time until they showed back up. A man walks out of one of the cars dressed in a fancy suit. Behind him is another man carrying a large box. Blade recognizes the man in the suit. Is that Nathan Garrett? The spy? Yeah, but he's not. Not what? You'll see. 2 more Klan members pull a tied-up Kevin out of the trunk of the car. The group of them walk into a mausoleum and disappear. 2 guards stand outside. Kevin! What's down there? I didn't think anything. If you want to save your friend, we've got to go down now. They run up and take out the 2 guards outside the building. Blade and Monica sneak into the crypt through a secret passage the others had already opened. They find a large room where the men have Kevin tied up on a stone table. What are they doing? It's a ritual. Dark magic. Creates a barrier that other magic can't get through. But they shouldn't be able to. They need a relic. Dark magic? Are you kidding? I'm not kidding. But it doesn't matter if they don't have the ebony blade. Oh, shit. Garrett removes the ebony blade from the box. He starts an incantation. You sneak around. Rescue your friend. I'll keep him busy. How? The usual way. Blade jumps down into the middle of the circle. The Klan members are startled. Garrett takes a breath. Who the hell? Oh, you must be Blade. And you're that rich guy who got caught selling secrets to the Chinese. How'd you get out of jail so fast? Broke out. Wow, you'd admit to that. In front of all these cops, I'm guessing? Blade jumps backwards, keeping the attention of the group away from Monica Lynn. He told me you'd be here. Said I was to kill you. Would that it were so simple. Indeed. That's why I brought this. Garrett raises the ebony blade over his head, and his arm transforms into a suit of armor, kind of like Magix does in New Mutants. The Klan members surround Blade while Garrett engages in combat. Third in the confusion, Monica Lynn sneaks over and manages to untie Kevin. He falls off the table, which gets the attention of the Klansmen. Blade and Monica are outnumbered, when suddenly, the lights go out. Somebody else is here. One by one, the Klan members are tossed against the wall. Garrett says, I just need to spill blood on the altar. Come over here. One of the Klansmen comes over to Garrett, who stabs the Klansman with the blade. The man lands on the altar, which glows. In the confusion, Blade manages to get the upper hand, but right before Blade can stop Garrett, Garrett does a spell that teleports himself and all the Klansmen out of the mausoleum, leaving Blade, Monica Lynn, a barely conscious Kevin, and the mystery man. Blade walks up to the man. Who the hell are you? Walks into the light and we can see a makeshift Black Panther, like the homemade Spider-Man suit. The man pulls off his mask and we see Sterling K. Brown. Monica Lynn rejoices. Joe, you made it. This is Joe. Joe Stevens. You can call me the War Dog. Mr. Eric Brooks. You can call me Blade. Joe and Monica Lynn kiss. I didn't know you were going to wear the suit. Desperate times. Just glad you're safe. Let's get Kevin somewhere comfortable. Got to Monica's farmhouse. Kevin is resting on the couch. The other 3 are talking. So you're saying these men were vampires? I thought so, but they weren't. They were just people. How do you know? I can smell it. And that's why you're here? You're a vampire hunter, something like that. Blade notices N'Jobu has a special set of Black Panther-y gloves. Some fancy gloves you got there. I've seen a weapon like that before. Only once. I doubt that. Come on, Monica. Vampires? How dumb does he think we are? You think Wakanda is the only secret left in the world, Mr. Stevens? How do you know about Wakanda? There's vampires everywhere. I assure you, there are no vampires in Wakanda. You're welcome. I know that's a sort of cliche line, but I don't know, I think it's fun. So our heroes do a little bit more investigating. Eventually, we come up with this explanation of what's going on, and I'll present it in the form of some exposition coming from Blade. Dracula always stayed away from North America. Doesn't like crossing the ocean. But his son, Xarus, he has something to prove. So he took a new approach. He needed two things. First, a field general. So Xarus called on another son of a bitch, a man named Nathan Garrett. You've probably heard of him. He was a disgraced British scientist who got caught spying for the Chinese. It was in all the papers. Xarus found Garrett and gave him something. Family heirloom. That's that ninja sword, more of a broadsword. It's called the Ebony Blade. It's indestructible, it can cut through anything. It's powered by hate. Legend has it the blade was made by Merlin and granted to a knight named Sir Percy, who used it to conquer Britain. The spell on the blade means it will always find its way to the next heir of Sir Percy. Looks like Dracula killed everyone alive between Percy and Garrett, because Garrett is desperate, and he was able to become the new Black Knight. But Xarus still needed an army for Garrett to lead, one with weapons, one in places of authority, and most importantly, one susceptible to bullshit. That's where the clan comes in. Garrett was able to convince the clan that Dracula wanted to give them power so they could defend the white race or something. Xarus just really wants bodies, one with small minds and big guns. One Xarus can use to spread his evil all throughout the states till he has his own vampire army strong enough to rival Dad's. So okay, had to jump back in here. These are my two big ideas. First, I was looking for Blade stories I had not seen pitched by other people, and I realized it might be fun to pair Blade up with another character from the MCU who we're at least kind of familiar with. And we know that this is Mahershala Ali's baby. Apparently he called up Kevin Feige, and said, I want to play Blade. So I wondered, does Mahershala have any friends who it might be fun to see him work alongside? And a quick Google brought up Sterling K. Brown. I listened to a conversation between Sterling K. Brown and Mahershala Ali on IndieWire's Millions of Screens podcast, and it turns out they go way back. They were a year apart in NYU's Tisch acting program and spent a lot of time together. Mahershala even slept on Sterling's couch for like a week. They learned from each other about acting, about faith, about everything. So, I think it's pretty wild that I've never seen them in anything before. And no, I'm not counting Invincible since they weren't in the same scenes together. But I think, well, it doesn't make a difference because Sterling K. Brown hasn't been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't think so. Right? Wait a second. He plays Killmonger's dad N'Jobu in the first Black Panther movie. If you Google it, Sterling's near the top of many of those great actor you forgot was in the MCU lists. But N'Jobu existed, and he had a very vague backstory that we could fill in here. N'Jobu was a spy or war dog who became radicalized while in the States. But we don't know when he went or what specifically led to that radicalization. So what if this was a team-up set right before Killmonger was born between Blade and N'Jobu? Blade and kind of Black Panther teaming up. Then the second question, what did they team up to do? And I thought, well, Blade fits nicely into any other story as long as the bad guys are also vampires. So really the question is, what's a great Black Panther story that we haven't done yet? And then I remembered one of the classic Black Panther comic storylines that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has not touched. T'Challa vs. the Klan. It started in the Jungle Action books, telling the story of T'Challa fighting the Ku Klux Klan, full of iconic imagery, most notably this cover with T'Challa tied to a burning cross. And the MCU hasn't done it yet. And we don't really have a T'Challa anymore, at least we don't have an adult T'Challa anymore. And since Kang isn't around to shoot him with the time gun, we probably won't for a while. And sure, we have a Black Panther now, but she has incredibly advanced technology. She fought Thanos, she fought Namor. A small sect of an American hate group doesn't really seem like it would be on her radar, even if some of them are vampires. But it could be a challenge for N'Jobu, a character with perhaps some Wakandan resources, but nothing near what T'Challa had even in Civil War. we can present a much more vulnerable Black Panther because he is not technically the Black Panther. He just knows how to be a Black Panther and can use that to his advantage. But then okay, why is Blade involved? Easy, because they're not just clan members, they're vampires. Or if you will, clanpires. And I will. But you may be thinking, won't that undercut the grounded nature of the comic story this is loosely based on? You'd think so. But in the original story, the clan was also working for a demon. Yet they were sort of two clans, one was the regular KKK and one was a supernatural KKK. So this is right in line with the original story. And hey, you know who features heavily in that original Jungle action run? T'Challa's first girlfriend, Monica Lin. A character who doesn't come up much anymore because she died from cancer. But Monica Lin had a presence in the early Black Panther books. So what if we take that story and transpose it onto N'Jobu? Or Joe Stevens, as I've decided he would call himself. Monica Lin travels home to find a dark magic KKK conspiracy and asks her Wakandan boyfriend to help her investigate. And this can be the last big adventure before Monica Lin became pregnant with Eric. Because in the lore, this character, Killmonger's mom, does not really exist. Like, obviously he had a mom, but we know nothing about her. So we can make some fun stuff up. She's a plucky activist from Alabama who moves to LA, meets a spy named N'Jobu, and they fall in love. And hey, I don't think we necessarily need a backstory for everyone's name in one of these, but now it would be kind of cool if N'Jobu and Monica Lin's son was named after that cool vampire hunter that helped them save her town from clanpires, Eric Brooks. And in this video, Monica Lin is played by Susan Kelechi Watson, who is not only Sterling K. Brown's wife on This Is Us, but she was also part of the same Tish class as Brown and Ali, and they're all friends. So the rest of the movie is what you'd expect. Our heroes are trying to work together, but failing, learning from each other. Blade learns to accept help. N'Jobu learns the importance of doing what's right over familial obligations, and Monica Lin learns that she needs to take drastic action if she wants to make change. And here we have some fun parallels. N'Jobu disagrees with his brother about politics and what their roles should be as rulers, and his difficulty with family can be reflected in Nathan Garrett and Xarus, two men who also inherited great power but used it to empower themselves. Blade and N'Jobu are also fun antagonists for the clan, since N'Jobu is a member of a part of Africa that thrived because they were able to avoid colonization, proving that the clan's belief in racial superiority is dumb, and Blade, a half-man, half-vampire, being able to beat these pure-blooded white bigots sends a fun message. Also, it's just like cool to watch clan members get beat up. Only other characters we'd absolutely need is the leader of the clan. Someone who can play a really effective racist authority figure. Probably Don Johnson, like he did in Watchmen, Rebel Ridge, or Django Unchained. He could be the mayor of this town, making it that much more difficult for our heroes to figure out how to deal with the conspiracy. Oh, and if you're wondering, after the first meeting between our heroes and our villains, why aren't the KKK members vampires yet? That does seem to be what Xarus wants after all. Well, it's because Xarus has a plan involving sending all of the clan members to become vampires at a big event like the Alabama State Fair or something. I like the idea that I think I stole from Twilight, although maybe this is just a regular vampire lore thing, that vampires are strongest immediately after being turned. It makes sense, since they're still filled with human blood. So Xarus is waiting till a specific fair night to turn all the clan members, and use them to turn everyone at the fair, and then they'll have an army. And that'll be the big third act set piece. Because fairs are fun. You got Ferris wheels, Hall of Mirrors, Tunnels of Love. You can turn all the water in the Tunnel of Love into holy water or something. And the movie ends with Blade killing the Black Knight and stopping the invasion, setting up Xarus and Dracula as antagonists in the future. And with Garrett dead, Blade knows the sword will seek out the next heir of Sir Percy when that heir comes of age. So he tracks that guy down. He's a newly orphaned baby who Blade keeps an eye on as he grows up, and trains with the hope that when the heir turns 18 and magically inherits the Ebony Blade, he can be an ally, and that's how Blade knows Dane Whitman. So that's the pitch. It is a fun, one-off story of Blade, N'Jobu, and Monica Lin taking on an army of clanpires led by the previous Black Knight. I really hope you haven't heard a pitch like that so far. Now get it to Mahershala ASAP. And Kevin, as much as I wish Blade was coming out in 2025, it seems like you got your hands full. Because with the finale of Agatha All Along, you also dropped this coming in 2025 sizzle reel that doesn't even include any of the movies that are coming out in 2025. So when you put all that together, you got a lot. So I decided, as a favor to the public, I would make a video just about everything we can expect in 2025, what I'm excited for, but I'm a little bit worried worried for. We'll talk about it, but there's a couple things I'm a little bit worried about, just a little bit. And you'll be able to watch that video on YouTube eventually, but you can watch it early, and you can watch it without ads. And you can watch videos from tons of other creators you already like Captain Midnight, Scott Niswander, and Patrick Willems. You can watch all their videos without ads. And sometimes they even make short films, like Patrick Willems just wrapped production on his new short film, which has some actors that you've probably heard of, which is very cool. I'm very excited about it. You can also watch original documentaries. For instance, Tom Nichols just made one called Boomers about the gerontocracy that currently rules the planet and whether, it's going to destroy it or actually it's not as big of a problem as we thought. Who knows? I mean, you will when you watch the documentary. And now you can even watch the latest Riff Tracks videos. That's right, those Riff Tracks videos. You can watch all of that, everything I just described, ad-free on this video sponsor, Nebula. You guys have heard me talk about Nebula a million times. It is a creator-owned subscription streaming service that I helped to create. All my videos go up there early and ad-free. So if you want to watch my new video previewing everything Marvel's got in 2025, that's on Nebula early. Then all those other videos from all those other cool creators. And there's so much other stuff that we are working on, genuinely, stuff that I'm sure you will hear about in the future that I am very excited to see Nebula produce, and I can't wait for you guys to hear about. I wish I could be less cryptic, but also sometimes the cryptic stuff is kind of a fun little tease. And a subscription to Nebula is just $60 a year, which is a great deal. But if you go to go.nebula.tv/Nando and use the code Nando at checkout, you can get a year of Nebula for $3 a month, which goes to just $36 a year. It is an incredible deal. Go check it out. I guarantee you're going to find some cool stuff you're going to like. As always, thank you to everybody that continues to support the channel on Patreon, everybody that watches these videos early and ad-free on Nebula, everybody that listens to my podcast, Mostly Nitpicking, and everybody that follows me on Twitter and Instagram, because I've been using Instagram kind of recently because of Halloween and stuff like that. So to all of you guys, thank you so much. That's all I got. Stay safe. I'll see you next time.